people, they're still coming because they like the way the mountains protected. I mean, the area is protected by mountains. And that's the Chinese, they call it feng shui. It's a place for you to be there forever, even with the field the sheriff, yes.
Siskiyou County is a rural county, and we have great agricultural land, mountain streams and rivers, and we have fertile soil, and we have relatively cheap land as well. We base our enforcement efforts on the violations committed. You don't care what somebody looks like.
The issue is back in 2015. The Hmong people moved into this county, and then they see the mountains, the surrounding, and everything is they like back in home. And then that time the ordinance was okay. And May 21st, the county changed it because the Hmong people bought more land, and we feel like it's a racial issue.
What's happened the last few years is we've had this phenomenon where we have a lot of people coming to Siskiyou County and purchasing relatively cheap private land and setting up illegal cannabis grows on those parcels. So right now we calculate we have somewhere around roughly 2,000 illegal cannabis cultivation sites in our county, which is very problematic because they're tough to eradicate.
It changed to only the residential can grow. If you have a private property, you need a septic tank, and then you can have a trailer. They can give you can become residential. But right now it's not like that. They keep changing, make it harder for the Hmong people.
We're going into Shasta Vista here. They'll pick these isolated sites because they know that they're less apt to be detected or bother, and they know that we have to drive a long way just to get out here. And here you see the porta potty, you see these shacks that are set up, obviously not to code, probably don't have a permit, and a lot of people use these swimming pools. They'll fill those up to water their plants. This is a typical site here. See the trailers, the shack, the plant. You can see the plants through there. See the stakes and the plants. The water tanks, the porta potties, right in the open, violating the county ordinance. Now, one of my big concerns last year is we had 3 people that died of carbon monoxide poisoning. One was in a shack that was built not to county code.
I'm going to get her to eat, but I didn't see her, and I kicked the door, and she not open the door. I shake her, and she only. I don't know how do you call, but she tied every whole body,
She living here. Her bed's here about 3 foot. Pillows here.
But the night she died, I very, very lonely. When my mom died, she cooked for us. She take care of me until I grow up. That's a cousin's friend say I need to sell my land. I said no. I stay my life down here. I won't sell it. I said it's okay. She leave me here. I should stay here forever.
We had about 500 complaints So we have a lot of citizens clamoring for assistance and support.
I respect him the way he said that he only rated the reported or the complaint area. Yeah, he's not gonna rate all of it, but he's gonna rate only the complaint. So whoever complain, he'll show up.
This is probable cause in and of itself. We could go back and write a search warrant. What we prefer to do is to go get a search warrant based on an affidavit and have the judge serve the search warrant. See those plants right through there? Mm-hmm. And that way we have authorization to go on private property and there's no question.
I want to see that it's only the affidavit or the real search warrant because the sheriff, they didn't follow the right protocol. What I mean is that when you enter the property, you say, okay, you had a search warrant. I searched for that and you had plant, so I had to cut it. That is the right procedure, but he didn't do that. Go to property, break the gate, and the people say, what's happening? Sit down. And the one that talked the most, then they handcuff. And then let's sit down and then cut it. They say, you have a search warrant? Yes. Don't worry, we get to you. And then everything cut it, and then after that, they just put that paper and then put on a table, not even show to the person.
A lot of these parcels are 2.5 acres, many of them are 5 acres or more, or bigger. Typically, well, so far this year, this is August 2nd, so far during 2017, we have actually executed 60 search warrant operations on private property.
Son of a bitch.
Sheriff's office!
We have seized close to 12,000 marijuana plants. So the typical cannabis illicit grow site has usually 99 or more plants.
What a pain in the ass.
Sometimes we find firearms. Many times we find structures that don't comply with building code requirements. Oftentimes there's no well. A lot of times there's no septic. Sometimes there's insecticides, pesticides, rodenticides, a lot of fertilizers that leach into the earth, fuels from the generator. Sometimes these hazardous chemicals create tremendous environmental blight in the neighborhoods. And all we're doing is we're enforcing the law, and we're trying to honor the desires of our citizens who really want their neighbors to comply with the law.
Can I get a blue dolphin? Oh, yeah. Is that the blue oyster you're getting that one? At least the guys are at friends.
I have great respect for the Hmongs, the Montagnards, and all the people of Southeast Asia. I've dedicated some of my life, spending time there in the military. But it's a matter of breaking the law and enforcing the law, and we're going to do that here.
The Hmong people will surely stay here. And I don't know how, but we try to make this a Hmong town and committed to stay, and we would like to fight for independent, incorporated independent Hmong town.